Has Gru and his gang of minions finally outstayed their welcome? Maybe just a little bit. Let's get into it. Hello there, Clapperheads, and welcome to a brand new edition of ClapperCorns. I'm Nick Dorian. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest installment in the Despicable Me franchise, Despicable Me 4. I think it's safe to say if you've never heard of the franchise or these little guys, you can consider yourself very lucky. Like it or not, the minions themselves are unavoidable and they are everywhere. So of course there was going to be a fourth installment to this franchise, and let's just put it this way, it's a bit mixed. Now don't get me wrong, I love the Despicable Me films. The first three were honestly quite good. The third one especially, introducing Gru's brother, that was a great storyline. Unfortunately, the fourth one felt confused. Following the events of the third film, this installment introduces us to a brand new member to Gru's family, Gru Jr., who is intent on tormenting his father. However, their entire peaceful existence will soon come crashing down when a criminal mastermind, Maxime Lamal, escapes prison and plans his revenge against Gru. Now, when the first trailer came out for the film, it mainly centered around Gru and his new son, but then the second trailer came out and seemed to focus a lot more on these new mega minions, as they call them. That should have given us a little bit of inkling of how this film was gonna go. Needless to say, it's a very convoluted storyline with multiple things happening at the same time that you're wondering which plotline are they trying to focus on. And there's also that fact of when the minions got their film, what was going to be the point when the two universes will start to compete with each other and leave a film that is very confused? This is the answer. It feels like the filmmakers and writers were unsure of what kind of film they were going to make. Were they going to make a Despicable Me film? Were they going to make a Minions film? And so they tried to combine the two together. But at that point, it just feels like, what are we watching here? It feels very odd to say, but this actually feels like a series of episodes that have been brought together into one big storyline. Like each episode has its own story, and that's what this film feels like. You've got a high storyline, you've got a witness protection storyline, you've got a villain storyline, you've got a maybe mocking superhero film storyline. There's so many things going on here that it's very hard to focus on one thing in particular. Which is a bit of a shame because the whole Despicable Me franchise is very good at the storytelling between Gru and the villain. That is sort of the concept of the whole thing. But for this one, it feels like Maxime Lamal has been completely forgotten. So much so to a point that in the middle of the film, you're going to be wondering, what did happen to him? But storyline aside, what makes Despicable Me work is the fact that they have a lot of good humor for both adults and the children. And again, that was something that was lacking in this fourth installment. The jokes feel very dated and so do the references, and the jokes just don't land this time around, which is a bit of a shame for a franchise like this. I may be wrong for saying this, but I think the popularity of the Minions has put pressure on Illumination to come up with a brand new film that, honestly, I don't think a lot of people asked for. The third film sort of brought everything full circle, and it was a nice, neat ending. I don't think we needed a fourth film. Some franchises should just end with a sequel, and if they wanted to do a series on, say, Netflix or HBO or whatever, that would have worked better than having a fourth installment. And judging from how this film played out, I think that would have made the fourth film even better, turning it into a series instead. But it's not all doom and gloom. Undoubtedly, the minions do create a lot of good humor in it. You're gonna watch them fool around, and that's honestly sometimes what we're there for. So in that aspect of things, it worked. But in everything else, not so much. At the end of the day, Despicable Me 4 is a little bit of a letdown in the whole series. Sure, kids are gonna love this film. They're just gonna watch the minions laugh and have a good time with it. But for the adult side of things who expected a little bit more from this, you're gonna be sadly disappointed. Will there be a fifth film? I really hope not. Will there be another Minions film? I'm pretty certain of it. And until then, we'll just see what happens. So do yourself a favor, Despicable Me 4 comes out in Malaysian cinemas this Thursday, the 4th of July. Go and catch it, maybe you'll have some fun. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. But for me, I would give this a miss. And as always, you can check us out on all social media. It's all on the screen at the moment, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. Go and follow and subscribe to those channels for more updates. Thank you so much again for watching. I'm Nick Dorian, and until next time, keep watching the movies.